Hi everyone, Danielle here. I'm doing an overview of Victory Garden. This is a really neat, I would say roll and write, flip and write type of game. Obviously, you see a bunch of cards are involved. We have five really chunky, cool looking dice. And then we have this sheet, which I've laminated. And so I'll be using a marker to mark. Kind of to explain what's in this play area, we have a row of goods, events, and recipes. Events and recipes will require some of these goods to be um, marked off to fulfill an event or a recipe. So for the event, you'll gain victory points. For recipes, you'll gain a victory point and an ability that you can use once per game. These trophy cards, there are six of them, one for each of these areas in your little sheet here. You'll be able to gain these if you complete an entire work area. Taking a closer look at the sheet itself, you have an inventory section where you'll track all the goods that you gained throughout the game. And then during the start of the game, you actually gain one water and one fertilizer, and you'll simply just mark them off, just, using an X or however you like. Mark off the shaded part of that little box for each that you gain. And then as you use them to fulfill your events or recipes or to mark off other areas, you'll mark the white space underneath the space that you've marked when you gained it. Something to mention as well is that you'll see some of these shovel icons in the inventory itself. And when you are marking them, so say you used one of this egg here, when you mark it off, you'll actually gain an additional action to use. Other ways to gain actions is to spend 4 canned goods. So you could do that as an action and you're able to gain action. Improving rations will improve your action that I just explained, where you can instead spend 2 cans instead of 4, and you gain an action and 3 victory points. So something to note about that. Um, there are 6 different areas. We have a forest, pasture, yard, pond, fields, and nursery. When you start marking them off in each area for your actions, you will have to start from the icon for each of these areas and then branch off as you go. So you're not going to be marking like a random circle here if you haven't already marked something before it. So you have to follow the path. Keep in mind that you could also go from area to area, which with these crossover paths. So the pasture leads into the forest leads into the nursery, and so forth. Some of these circles will have icons in it. So when there are icons inside the circle, you will need to make sure you have a resource to pay that. And I think we're kind of ready to start. I don't want to talk too much. I just want to get into the gameplay so you can see how this game works for you. You're rolling 5 dice, and you are going to do the work phase. So each round has a work phase and a market phase. Work phase, you get 2 actions to mark your sheet. You're choosing one die to specify one of those actions work areas. So I'm going to choose a pond. So what I can do on this work phase is choose to mark any box that I want, or choosing to use the die first and marking only in the work area that the die is specifying. In this case, it's pond. I'm going to just mark the die first, so it'll be the pond. And then we'll gain that water next to where I marked. That's your little bonus there. And then as my second work action, I could just continue down this path. I could work into another area. I can mark off one of the improved ration circles, but I think I will continue down the pond, or maybe I'll diversify. I did gain water already and I have 2. So maybe I'll work on the yard. In that case, I've gone into this path from the yard, gained an egg and a canned good. Those were my 2 actions for the work phase. In the solo mode, you are going to place the die that you just chose during this round and put it at the top of the leftmost column that does not already have a die. So it's going in the first column. Now moving on to the market phase of the round, you get 2 actions again. You get to choose to gain a good, fulfill an event, or fulfill a recipe. Or you could do, gain 2 goods, fulfill 2 events, fulfill 2 recipes. Any combination of those 3 you're able to do on your market phase turns. So I am gonna take a look at what I have out here. I'm actually not capable probably of fulfilling much except the pasture raised recipe. And I think I will. I will do a recipe as one of my actions. So crossing off or marking an egg and a fertilizer that requires. And then over here it does says and for you. So this gives me an ability for my next work phase or any future work phase to use this. I just tilt the card a little bit to show that I used it, and then I won't be able to use it the rest of the game. It's just a one-time use. My second work phase action, I'm sorry, market phase action will be to gain a good. I'm going to gain this legume. So I'll gain that legume and mark it on my sheet. And now is the round end. We get to refill any cards. And then the die tells us which columns we have to place a new card on top of. So we're going to just fill up that column with a new card on top. And that's it. We're also going to go back to our sheet and mark that we finished round 1. So this is going to be a total of 12 rounds, and then you'll score. I'll roll 4 dice. You'll notice obviously my dice pool is decreasing as the rounds progress. I have fields, I have forest, and I have pond. I'm going to do probably the forest. And then I'm going to actually use my other action, because again, you get 2 actions when you get into the work phase. And so the work phase, I'll use the die to mark this first one, and I'll use my other action to mark this one. It requires a water, so I'll mark off a water. And now I get to gain 3 in any combination of a tomato, legume, egg, or grain. And I also gain a canned good. So looking at these over here, I think I would want some tomatoes. So I'll gain 3 tomatoes. I'm just going to choose to gain 3. I could have done another combination. But I've gained 3 tomatoes and I gained 1 can. So I have 2 cans. All right, so I'll put that down in the second column. And then we'll move into the market phase. And I will complete canned sauce. So canned sauce requires 3 tomatoes. 1, 2, 3 is used up. And now it says, and for you, I gain oh, I totally forgot to replace this one. Okay. I gain this fertilizer. Okay. My second market phase action, I'm gonna gain tough decision. I'm gonna gain a good. I just don't know which one. Maybe I'll gain a grain. I'll gain grain. Okay, so now we'll replace everything. And then, so we've done that. So I'll tilt it, and then I refill or kind of put on top the first 2 column of cards because they have a die on top of them. All right. There we go. That is the second round. And now we go into the third round. We'll roll. Wow, I don't have much choice here. It's going to be the yard. So let's see. I'll go here and gain a fertilizer. And I have 2 fertilizer. And then as my second work action, I could choose any area to go in. So I think I'll go here, spend that water that I need to mark that spot. And then I can gain any of these items. And in this case, I'm gonna gain, I think I'll gain a legume. And then I also gain a can. All right, so yeah. So I choose one of those and I gain a can. That's my second action. Now I'll place this die on top of column 3, and then we'll do the market phase. I will choose to gain a tomato. And then I think, yeah, I'll complete this golden grains recipe. So spending one of my grains and one of my fertilizer. And then I gain an extra action in the forest at any time. All right, so we refill, and then we're going to add cards to each of these sections. And then you just continue exactly how I've been playing until you hit the 12th round. And just so you know, if you were to run out any of the event cards or recipe cards, you just keep all the topmost cards and take the cards underneath each of those piles and shuffle and create the new decks. If you were to complete again all of the circles within each area, not including the crossover areas, you do gain the corresponding trophy cards. You'll simply score at the end of the game, scoring all of the circled victory points on your sheet, all of your trophies, and then also each of your goods that you didn't use during the game counts as 1 point. And then once you're done, you'll look at the scoring table here and see if you've gotten at least 80 points. And then if you did, you could check out your rating. All right, well, so that was an overview of Victory Garden. This is I feel like it's a cozy type of relaxing uh, solo game. This game, I think, is 1 to 5 players, but I think for me, I do prefer kind of the solo aspect. I could take my time with it and really strategize on how to get the most resources I can to fulfill the events and recipes. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much again to the designer of the game for sending me a review copy of this one. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on videos like this. And I hope you're well. And I'll see you next time. Bye.